And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Okay, let me make sure my volume's not all screwed up. Volume's cool. Okay, good. So here, check this out. Here's what's going on. The MAGA movement. There's a faction of those MAGA movement which is coming out in favor of violence against this white woman who had a baby in the park in Minnesota. So I don't know if you've heard of this story, but there's a woman who was with her baby in the park. She was a white woman in Minnesota. She was in the park with her children. One of her children is like, a toddler. And she got into some argument with some kid, a big kid, because we have the pictures. We can see that he's a big kid. Anyway, she got in an argument with him because he was stealing something from her, right? She just had a little argument with him. So the Somalian man comes out of nowhere with a video camera and starts filming her and calling her a racist. And this is the point. You see, this is the point. Is that a Somalian man who's like in his 30s with a video camera starts harassing this woman. She's holding a baby, right? She's holding a baby. And now the Somalian man, a grown man, a big, tall Somalian man, is harassing this white woman in a park. Her husband's not there. She's there with her children. Okay. And you've got a Somalian man, a big, tall, big Somalian man, calling her a racist and following her around with a camera and videotaping her. And what is the result of this? The result of this is the MAGA Inc. Conservatard movement has come out calling for violence against this woman and her children. That's a fact. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Well, you're wrong if you don't believe me. So now the people calling for violence against this woman, so far, just from my cursory view on it, some of them, well, one of them in particular is followed by General Flynn. So General Flynn is big in the MAGA movement, right? And he's following one of these people who's a conservatard MAGA influencer, like a professional MAGA influencer. Like the guy's job is to go on Twitter and be an influencer on Twitter for specifically, if you look at his like his profile, the guy is he says he's Christian and that he loves Israel, which by which he means the Jewish state of Israel, not Israel, whatever. Israel, the Bible, but I don't want to get into that. So the people doing this are connected. One of them is connected to General Flynn. He claims he loves Israel, and he claims that he's a Christian, and he's a centrist, and he doesn't believe in these extremists. And he's calling this white woman in the park who's being harassed by a Somalian man, not a kid that she had a little argument with. See, this is the point, and this is the point that everybody needs to understand. It's not that she had an argument with a black kid that was rummaging through her things and stealing things from her, and she had a little dispute with him. That's not the point. The point is a Somalian man in the park started videotaping her. See, a Somalian man, a grown Somalian man in the park started videotaping her with her baby, and her husband's not there, right? And you've got MAGA influencers connected to General Flynn calling her a white bitch and calling for violence, calling for her to be beaten up. And these are people connected. You don't believe me. You don't believe me, do you? You don't believe me. You don't believe me. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that video real quick, but let me just play you some of the other videos connected to this. Because, look, you've got, it's not just the, okay, so I'm going to find out who that guy that I'm talking about is, but it's not just him. It's Riley Gaines. It's Billboard Chris, right? It's a bunch of people connected to this. And for some reason, like all these people have certain things in common. One of the things they all have in common is they're connected to the Republican Party. The other thing they all have in common is they're connected to, they all say that they support Israel and Zionism, like that's part of their thing. The other thing that they're involved in is they're MAGA influencers on Twitter. So there's Billboard Chris, there's Riley Gaines, and then there's this other guy who is doing this. And they're calling for violence against the white woman. So now here's the thing you have to understand. This has very little to do with the fact that she got in a dispute with a black child who was stealing things from her. And that black child doesn't appear to be small. He looks like a big black child, but that's a separate thing. The thing that's important and that all the MAGA influencers on Twitter are ignoring is the fact that a Somalian man in the park who's in his 30s, okay, a Somalian man in his 30s is recording a white woman in the park who has a baby, and he's chasing her around in the park. And the MAGA influencers, Billboard Chris, you know who that guy is? He's the guy that goes around with his billboard in Canada, and he makes money doing this. And he's supported by a network. I believe he's connected just based on his profile. I don't know this for a fact, but I do believe he's connected to Ezra Levant of Rebel Media, right? So look, I don't even want to make a thing about Jews in Israel over this, but I'm just saying they are all connected to them. That's what they are. I'm saying that's who they are. I'm noticing a pattern that all of these influencers that are calling for violence against a white woman who's alone in the park with her kids, okay, and she's got a black Somalian Muslim stalking her with a camera, aside from the dispute she had with the little black kid, okay, aside from that, look, if I'm in the park and I saw a black woman being robbed by a little white kid and she called him a bad word, I would side with the black woman. Don't rob people, you little punk. That's what I would say to the white kid. I wouldn't take out a camera and videotape her, right? And so here's the thing you have to understand. It's the MAGA influencers connected to General Flynn and apparently Ezra Levant. And there's something going on here, okay? These are people, and I don't even want to make this about Israel, but all the people doing this on Twitter are all saying, we love Israel and we love MAGA and we want violence. They're calling for violence against a white woman, calling her a white bitch, calling her white trash. These are white MAGA people doing this. I'm not joking. But it's not just them. See, here's the thing. It's also black TikTok coming out and saying, kill her kids, right? So you've got black TikTok saying kill her. You've got black MAGA influencers saying kill that bitch, beat her up, kill her kids, have her arrested, have CPS take her kids. You've got black TikTok saying that. You've got black Twitter connected to the Republican Party saying that. Then you've got the big MAGA influencers that are totally connected. From what I can tell, General Flynn is part of this. General Flynn, and they're saying she's white trash. She's a white bitch. And if someone did that to me, I'd punch him in the face. I'd fuck him up. That's what they're saying about this white woman who's holding her baby, being stalked by Somalian Muslim in Minnesota. You get how insane this is? This is why I've been saying on all my videos how much I hate the Republican Party. I hate them because of shit like this. They're horrible. Okay, look, you don't believe me. I'm going to try and find. So here's just a video of black TikTok. Listen to what they're saying.
I just got a real quick question. So we all know what happened with Shiloh Hendricks and how she got all this goddamn money, right? Off all the wrong reasons. But you know what? It is what it is at this point, right? So I'm just sitting here thinking, what about the baby? What about the baby? Because technically, that baby is going to grow up and be part of the goddamn Triple K. That baby might grow up to be Hitler. That baby is going to grow up and probably be the worst of the worst out there in the world. And you know what? I don't want that baby policing children that look like me. I don't want that baby growing up doing anything else to people that look like me, all because it was taught that. But since, unfortunately, CPS is not going to be able to do nothing, what should we do? I think you guys should let me know in the comments, because part of my thinking was...
See, here's a black guy sitting in his car talking about killing somebody's baby. Okay. Killing a white woman's baby. So here's a black guy on TikTok sitting in his car making a video of himself saying, let's kill that baby. Let's kill that white woman's baby. Then you've got the MAGA influencers connected to General Flynn saying, she's white trash. She's a white bitch. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's what Billboard Chris is saying. Billboard Chris. You know that guy? Billboard Chris. Who's the other guy? Let me give you these other people, right? So you don't think I'm full of shit. I'm not. This is what they're doing. And the distinction you have to understand, because what the MAGA TikTok influencer Inc. Conservatards are saying is they're making this about what she said to the black kid who was rummaging through her things, which is not the point. That's really irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. But they're making it about that. You see, she called the black kid an N-word and is being rewarded for it. No, that's not what she's being rewarded for. She's being harassed by Somalians in the park, and then you have all of the NAACP race war crowd and all the MAGA influencers connected to the General Flynn international Zionist thing, calling for her to be killed and her children to be killed. That's why people are donating to her, not because she called a little kid that was stealing her stuff. Not that she said something to him. It's about the Somalian man in the park. See, this is what you have to focus on. Let me show you what they're saying. Okay, so we've got who are some of these people? Oh yeah, Misfit Patriot. Okay, this is a MAGA guy. He's called Misfit Patriot, right? He's like, I'm white. I'm like, he's like he's like either he's like from one of these former Confederates. I'm a white guy. I got my trucker hat on, and he's in the bar with some black dude who spends their evenings in a bar with a black man. Okay, but let's just listen to what he says, right? What is he saying? Yeah, see, this is the typical. They find people like this to appeal to the white people, and then he's like, "Hey, man, that white bitch should just keep her mouth shut." That's the kind of stuff he's saying about a woman in the park being harassed by a Muslim. Let me see if I can get you the video. I'm doing this. It was a few days ago. I got to scroll through here. Yeah, he's in a bar, right? He's in a bar with a guy, a big black dude. Who hangs out in a bar with a big black guy in the middle of the night drinking beer? Doesn't that seem weird to you? I don't. I don't hang out in bars, period. But if I was in a bar, I wouldn't be looking for a black man to hang out with in the middle of the night. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. This is it right here. Okay, so here's this guy. This is from May 3rd, and he says, right, he's got this other guy, Black Lives Matter guy, El Jefe, right? So here's these two. He says, don't call anyone the N-word that can't beat your ass. Y'all motherfuckers really lost the plot. Okay, they're talking about a white woman holding a baby. You get it? Now listen to what. This is a white woman that was holding a baby in the park with a Somalian man. A Somalian man, a man in his 30s, harassing a white woman in the park. So this guy comes from Somalia to America because he's imported over here, and then he's in the park and he's harassing her. Now, what do they say about her? Let's just listen.
I can't get in. EJ Brandon? Yeah. If I can't get no Hennessy, if I can't get no Jack, I need EJ. Yo, you're about to cross it. I need EJ, I need Remy, I need Tuesday. I need all Jack or Brandon, bro. But I will accept this. Like I said, I got great vibes. I got great Kool-Aid. Hey, what do you think about that skinny white bitch?
Okay, did you hear that? So they're in the bar, right? Got to keep my volume from going too crazy here. They're in the bar, and he says, then he says, I don't know if you can hear it. Let me turn my volume down now because I know this is getting too crackly. I don't know if you can hear it, but he says, so they're in the bar, and that part right there, I'll play it for you again. He says, what do you think about that skinny white bitch? This is a MAGA influencer, a professional MAGA influencer, followed by General Flynn, right? How long have I been saying that General Flynn is a problem on this channel? For years? Listen to what I'm saying to you, okay? Here's a white guy, MAGA influencer. Why is he a white guy? Because Remember what happened to that white lady for saying all lives matter? I don't remember that one, but I'm sure it wasn't good. So here's this guy in the bar, right? So he's the typical, he's like central casting white guy. He's got the trucker hat. He's got big muscles, and he's in the bar. He's in the country western bar, with his black friend who they look like whatever. They're in the bar together in the middle of the night, and he says, "Hey man, what do you think about that stupid skinny white bitch?" Okay, understand, he's talking about a mom. This is somebody's mom. He's talking about somebody's mom who's in the park. Okay, mom's at the park with her toddlers. And aside from the argument she had with a kid that was stealing from her, that's separate. A black Somalian man in his 30s starts videotaping her to put it on TikTok or the internet. And so that's step one, right? Now, when people come to her aid, now you have the MAGA influencers come out, like this piece of conservatism, this piece of conservatism, this piece of conservatism, who says to the black man he's in a bar with in the middle of the night drinking alcohol. So you have two men. You have a conservatism and a black man. No, it's not all lives matter. It's Black Lives Matter guy. That's what's on his profile. They're in the bar together in the middle of the night drinking alcohol together, and he says, "What do you think about that skinny white bitch?" Let me play it for you again. This is the MAGA people, dude. Listen, I'm gonna try and get this for you. I'm gonna turn my volume up so you can hear it. Hold on. Listen.
What do you think? What do you think about that skinny white bitch?
Okay, did you hear that? Can you hear that? Did you hear what he just said? What do you think about that skinny white bitch? Okay. He's talking about a woman. YouTube won't let me type what happened to her. Okay. Yeah. So that guy that you just heard, this is a guy called Misfit Patriot on Twitter, right? He's a professional MAGA influencer followed by General Flynn. Look, General Flynn, I'm on X now again, right? And I'm under my own name, so you can go find me. I talk to General Flynn. He doesn't follow me. He won't follow me. He ignores the shit out of me, or he reports me to X. General Flynn does. General Flynn follows this guy called Misfit Patriot. Say, Misfit Patriot. Now, what he's doing here, you got to understand what's happening in this scene that he's posting this video online. This is all scripted. He's doing this on purpose. This is his role as a MAGA influencer, and he's calling a white woman in the baby and with her babies and her toddlers playing in the park. Dad's not around because he's at work, right? The man she's with is a hardworking guy that works full time, and those are his kids that he had with her. And there's a Somalian man recording her. And what is this Misfit Patriot guy who says, "I'm a Christian. I love Israel. I'm an anti-racist. She's a skinny white bitch." See, when you use that kind of language, that's an incitement to violence, right? It's a way to dehumanize somebody before you kill them or beat them up, right? So when you say you're a skinny white bitch, right? That's what this Misfit Patriot guy is connected to General Flynn says about a woman who's in the park being harassed by a Somalian man, not by the kid. The thing she did with the kid is separate. Okay, so we covered that, right? So now let's go to this Billboard Chris guy. We all know who he was, and we all probably thought, "Oh yeah, Billboard Chris, he's good." Okay, wait. Before we continue, let's hear what the black guy says about the white woman. The black guy is the guy that this Misfit Patriot. He's a professional MAGA influencer. So he says, "What do you think about that skinny white bitch?" Okay, to the black man he's in the bar with in the middle of the night drinking alcohol together. Who does that? Okay, listen. So let me play you this next part, okay? So this is what the black man says about a white woman who's in the park with her kids being harassed by a Somalian man. Forget about the other thing. Doesn't matter. Listen.
Call that little kid a nigga.
He says, "Fuck that hoe." That's what he said. What else? What, you can't hear it very well. Or that hoe or something. He calls her a hoe. Now, what else does he say?
Call a kid that can't defend himself a nigga. Call a grown man that can defend himself a nigga or a bitch.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear it because he's speaking in kind of an ebonics type of language. But he's calling her a hoe. Then he's saying something about him because she had a dispute with a kid, right? That was stealing from her. But that's not the point. There's a man there filming her. It's a psyop back and forth, my friend. It's not. No, it's not a psyop because the reason why, and you can believe that, whatever. So here's the thing. The people that are saying it's all a psyop are also on Twitter. And they're saying that so that you will stop supporting her. They don't want people doing this. Let me get you the next part.
I was just about to ask, when do you call somebody a nigga? You call somebody that can beat your ass a nigga.
So the black guy says, "Oh, you call somebody that can beat your ass a nigga. That's when you can say it." Oh, I just said the word. I don't usually say that word. And if I do, I don't usually say it to black people because I'm not disrespectful to people. I do say it to all kinds of people, some white people. I call them that. I just say it sometimes. I wouldn't say it in public to just a black person for no reason, though. Anyway, because it's disrespectful. But here's the point. She said it to a little kid who was stealing from her. I understand that. Okay. You got mad and you said the word. Okay. Then but then the kid ran off. And then the Somalian man shows up with a video camera and starts stalking her. Okay. And so now you've got this black guy that's hanging out with this misfit patriot dude. And he's saying, yeah, you say that someone when you can beat their ass. Okay. Well, she said it to the Somalian man, actually, is who she said it to on video. If you watch the video of her saying it, she's saying it to the Somalian man who's in his 30s holding a video camera, stalking her while she's holding a baby. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is just this one misfit patriot thing. These are MAGA influencers. Now, the other one was the Riley Gaines, another MAGA influencer. Let me make sure my volume isn't too high. I think we're okay. So that's the misfit patriot guy. So yeah. So they're the victims. Oh, so here's this. He says, people real mad. This is a misfit patriot guy. People real mad. I don't hate black people. And that's fucking weird. No, nobody's mad that you don't hate black people. Nobody is mad that you don't hate black people. The reason I don't like you is because you're inciting violence against a white woman who's being stalked by a Somalian Muslim man, an adult man in his 30s, who's stalking her in the park with a video camera. See, this is a problem. I didn't even blame the blacks. I blame you. You're a white man, misfit patriot. And so let me get off this one, okay? I mean, until that guy, whatever. I can't even say certain things because this is YouTube. So here, let me go to the next one. So the other one is we got this Billboard Chris guy, right? Billboard Chris. He's doing the same shit. The reason he's doing the same shit is because this is the what this is you have the MAGA establishment, the Conservatard Inc. has these influencers on Twitter, and they are there to redirect the conversation and take a position against racism. Here's the thing, dude. A white woman in the park being harassed by a grown Somalian man. Okay, and you're calling, see, Billboard Chris calls her a white trash. See, the MAGA guy 1 calls her skinny white bitch. MAGA guy 2, Billboard Chris, calls her white trash. These are men. And they're saying it about a white woman who's in the park with her toddlers being stalked by a Somalian Muslim man. A Somalian Muslim man who just so happens to have been charged with rape with him and another man, 2 grown men, charged with raping a 16-year-old. Those charges were dropped recently, though, or something. I wouldn't call any of this a psyop. No. What this is this is the Republican establishment trying to quell genuine concern, genuine feelings, genuine problem that's occurring. They don't want people talking about this. But let me go to this Billboard Chris guy. Billboard Chris, because he's doing this. And so the Billboard Chris guy is a professional demonstrator. And of course, he does the whole trans thing, right? And it's like, oh, great, Billboard Chris. Yeah, great. Good for you, Billboard Chris. Hey, listen, I was doing this without pay before anybody. Okay, before anybody, I was going to the government buildings and going to Homeland Security and going to the district attorney's office and telling them all about this like 10 years ago. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Here's this Billboard Chris. He calls the woman with the baby, he calls her a white trash. He calls her, the woman being stalked by a Somalian in the park, he calls her white trash. Let me see if I can find that one. Should be from about May 3rd. Is that what? Oh, yeah. Here it is. Here's Billboard Chris. Anyone who views themselves as part of a class of victims and cries about it needs to have a long, hard look within. See, this is the typical Republicard, Conservatard, MAGA Inc. You got to understand, what is MAGA? Make America Great Again. Who started that? Well, that's Trump's idea. Like he branded that. And who backed Trump in 2015? Who was the group that just on day one when he came down the escalator? Who was the group that backed Donald Trump? Was it all these MAGA influencers on Twitter that are connected to some shadowy group that they all pledge allegiance to Israel for some reason? No, that wasn't it. It was me and the people on Daily Stormer. And that's where you got Lucas Gage, and that's where you got Nick Fuentes, and that's where you got, what was it? All these other people. Half of them aren't even allowed on Twitter. Okay. And yes, you could say some of them are like, whatever. But that wasn't the MAGA though. So that was just the group that backed Trump before any of these other idiots did, before all these idiots in the media did. Okay. So, but let me just, so Billboard Chris calls her white trash. Billboard Chris calls the mom with the toddlers white trash, who's being stalked by a Somalian Muslim in the park. Let's listen to Bill, or not listen to, but let's see Billboard Chris. So he just goes on and on. This is 23 hours. He's still talking about this. But he's got some really nasty things that he said about this woman. Really nasty things that he said about this woman. Let me see if I can find him. It's not always. Oh, here we go. No, that's him with his. So for some reason, let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Solid article and accurate headline. It's been helpful for many to see the frothing hatred and despicable behavior from many of the fake conservatives on the right who will destroy conservative progress given any opportunity. We're destroying conservative progress by defending a mom in a park who's being stalked by a Somalian Muslim. Okay, so tell me, you gotta understand how they're framing this in a way that suits them. They're framing this in a way that says she said a bad word to a kid. He is a kid in the park, and that's what they want you to focus on. That's not what I'm saying to focus on. I'm saying that there's a man with a camera. He's in his 30s. Okay. He's stalking a white woman in the park, and she calls him the N-word. And that's what went viral in the video. Not what she did to the kid. Not what she said to the kid who was stealing from her. What she said to the grown man, the grown Somalian man in the park. And so this is the thing that all these conservatards are basically, okay, look, what are you conserving? What's this conservative progress towards what? A woman's being stalked in the park by a Somalian man, and you're siding with the Somalian man. Right. You're ignoring her situation, right? The situation is you've got a white woman in the park with her kids being robbed by another kid. She calls him a name, and then he runs off. Nothing happened to him. He just got called a name and ran off. Big deal. Oh, he's not gonna recover from that? Give me a break, right? So then a Somalian man who's hanging out in the park, there's like a 30-year-old Somalian man hanging out in the park, and he starts videotaping her. Okay. And who does Billboard Chris side with? He sides with the Somalian Muslim man in the park. Who does Misfit Patriot, Mr. Hangs out with black guy in the middle of the night drinking alcohol? Who does he side with? He calls her a white, skinny white bitch. So he sides with the Somalian man in the park. Who does Riley Gaines, you know, Mrs. I'm an athlete, and this man, he was against, you know, he won the whatever athlete. I don't even follow this shit, right? Because it's so stupid. Yeah. Men are men and women are women. Do we have to have an argument about this? Right. Obviously. So all this stuff where they just, you know, oh, well, we're going to have new laws. And no, dude, you're in something with these people, right? So Riley Gaines, she comes out in faith. She comes out and sides with the Somalian man. Do you understand? She's siding with the Somalian man against the white woman who's with her babies. Does Riley Gaines even have a family? Does she have kids? Probably not. She wears clown paint on her face. If you look at her face, she covers her face in clown paint. She literally looks like a clown. She looks like a clown. I don't know why. But let's look at what Billboard Chris, because he says a lot about this. He's still talking about this. Is May 3rd. He's talking about conservative he calls her unfollow. Okay. He says our conservative party is basically conservative and slightly better than liberals, but too afraid to stay with the stop childhood. Okay, he's talking about that shit again. Here's the thing. He calls her white trash. He calls a white mom in the park white trash. This Billboard Chris guy. I gotta find that. Billboard Chris. He calls her white trash. Where did that one go? He's like calling everyone neo-Nazis. Let me see. See if I can find it. Okay, so these are the people that are. Oh, and here's Riley Gaines. Yeah, we'll find Riley Gaines too. We'll go back to her. May 3rd. I'm sure he's kept all this stuff. So can you imagine his job is to be a professional demonstrator. So that means he's getting paid by somebody. And you're like, okay, well, who's he getting paid by? And here he is. This is from May 2nd. He says, to everyone saying there's no evidence she called the child the N-word, she admits to it in the video. Okay, so she called a child the N-word. So what? That's not the point, Chris. Billboard Chris. Yeah, she called the child an N-word, and the child then the child ran off. And then a Somalian man starts videotaping her, Chris. See, Chris, a Somalian man is in the park. Why is there a Somalian man in the park? By himself, he's not there with kids. No, in fact, just a few months earlier, he'd been charged with raping a 16-year-old girl with another man his age, Chris. Okay, so he's just hanging out at the park. And so he starts videotaping this white woman and saying, oh, you called that boy an N-word. Okay, and she's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, oh, yeah, say it again on the video. He's like literally stalking this woman. It's a Somalian man, Chris. So who's Chris siding with? Billboard Chris, the professional demonstrator, who apparently this is his job. This is how he makes a living, traveling around and doing demonstrations. So someone's paying him for this, right? And he comes out in favor of the Somalian man, saying, "Look, there's video of it. It was taken by the Somalian man in the park." Do you see how this works? So here's what Chris says about himself. What a society we have. Shame on this other guy, quote unquote Jesus follower, and give, send, go for making her rich on their Christian fundraising platform. Oh, that's just not Christian to back this. It's just not Christian to side with this white woman in the park who's being stalked by a Muslim man, a Somalian Muslim man in the park by himself, in a park with women and children. And there's a Somalian man in there who just a few months ago was charged with raping a 16-year-old. And Billboard Chris says, these just aren't Christians. They're just so unchristian. And I can't believe it. Can you see what's going on? Do you see how, never mind. Let's just keep going. So now he gets a lot of responses to this. And I call him another satanic cult member allied with Somali pirates against the white race. That's what I call him. Now, if you notice in my video, I'm not attacking black people. People are going to come on. What's this guy saying? This has nothing to do with black. It has nothing to do with black people. You know why? Because I'm not in anything with black people. So when I get my political views have nothing to do with black people, because I'm not. So all the people that I'm targeting are white people, that are siding with some shadowy group where you got General Flynn and you've got Ezra Levant, and everyone has to pledge allegiance to Israel. And they're all they all say they're Christians, and they all pledge allegiance to Israel, and they're all professional, paid activist demonstrators that are getting paid from somewhere. And when it comes to white people being harassed in the park by Somalians, well, you're just a racist if you don't like that. Okay. Well, whatever this is, the reason I'm making these videos is because I'm saying this needs to be broken up. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this network and this political contract, this political social system needs to be dissolved. It needs to be dissolved. It needs to be broken up. And these people that are they put people in place to lead everybody because they look like you. They're white like you, and they're like you, and they have some conservative ideas like you. And so when these issues come down, they're there to influence you and say, no, don't worry about the Somalian man videotaping her. She's a white bitch. She's a skinny bitch. She's a hoe. And they're calling for violence. That's an incitement to violence when you do that. That's why people are donating to her, not because of what she said to the kid in a dispute with the little kid that was stealing from her. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the calls for violence. It has to do with the violence. It's the ongoing violence. See, let me explain this to you. If you don't already know, is that the way that this political system is arranged in Canada, in the United States, and in Europe, is that it's organized by it's that the white people in these countries are subdued through black violence. That's the NAACP. Now, the NAACP was set up I wonder if she'll get any of that money too. Hopefully she's already gotten big chunks of it because she is in danger. That's the whole point. Her life is in danger. When you've got the NAACP saying we need to take her kids, and you've got all the MAGA people siding with NAACP and the Somalian Muslim who's recording people in the park, not just people, recording a white woman in the park with her kids. See, this is the thing. White people are controlled through black violence by the state. It's organized by this. It's organized state violence against whites. The whole MLK thing where they said, we are nonviolent. That was like the front thing to bring in this thing that was all organized, right? It was all organized that way to bring it in. It is violence. It is violence. It's there to control white people with black violence. 100%. That's the Republican. That's what the whole Republican Party has been doing that the whole time. We're not going to go too much in that. We got to focus on Chris and then Riley Gaines. So here's Chris. Here's Billboard Chris, right? People are free to be terrible human beings. Like, right. So the white woman with her kids, she's a terrible human being. She's being stalked in the park by a Somalian man, a 30-year-old Somalian, and she is a terrible human being, right? She's white trash, he says in another one of his posts. What else does he say? And Gibson Go is free to use their platform to reward them, and I'm free to comment on it. Yeah, you are free, and I'm free to show everybody exactly what you are, Billboard Chris. People need to see not just what you're saying, but why you're saying it and who you work for and how the system works, because this is designed. See, Billboard Chris isn't just some independent guy. He's a paid demonstrator. He's connected to Ezra Levant. Who else is he followed by? Let me just check. He's followed by End Wokeness, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and 11 others that I follow. Okay. Right. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't follow me. General Flynn doesn't follow me. I talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll send her things on there. She doesn't respond. She doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want anybody to know she's talking to me. And I like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't like General Flynn because I don't trust him. I think General Flynn is one of, because see the thing, and General Flynn looks like a nice guy. He's got a nice, see, he fits the profile of the conservative. He's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He's got a nice family. That's all true. But he's going to burn you. Anyway, I'm just noticing by the people that he's associated with. Let's see. Here's another guy. He's got an American flag and an Israeli flag, and he says, "Never okay. That behavior is unchristian." Okay, so you're in the park. You're a white woman in the park, and a Somalian man. You're holding your kids. You're holding a toddler, and a Somalian man starts videotaping you, and you're the problem, right? According to MAGA Inc., according to all the influencers, according to all the good Christians on Twitter, you're the problem, white bitch. That's what's happening. That's what's been happening for the past week. And this has nothing to do with the kid, right? Yeah, you shouldn't say that to a kid, but the kid shouldn't be stealing. Look, I'm going to say it again. If I'm in the park, right, which I don't hang out in parks by myself. I don't go to the park without kids and just hang out there where there's women and kids playing, like the Somalian Muslim did, who's been charged with rape. Okay. I don't do that. But let's say I was at the park or walking by a park and I saw a black woman being harassed by a little white kid who's kind of a big white kid, right? And she calls him a bad word and he runs off. I don't then grab a video recorder and start stalking her and her children. You know why? Because I'm not a fucking psychopath piece of shit. I'm not a piece of trash. So I don't do that to the black lady. In fact, I would side with her because I'm against people stealing. I'm against kids stealing from people. Yeah, he's a big kid. He shouldn't be stealing. And she called him a name. So what? See, that's just normal. But MAGA Inc.'s calling her white trash. MAGA Inc.'s calling her a white bitch. MAGA Inc.'s, let's go to Riley Gaines. Wait, let me find a little more of this. If I can find a little more of this Billboard Chris guy. He's got some really, he's just not giving up. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it. Anyway, here's a picture of the kid. It's kind of blurry. The kid's big. He's tall. He's like a tall kid. Definitely not 5 years old. I mean, if he is 5 years old, then he's like the biggest 5 years old. He looks more like, I would say he's probably like 9 or 10 or something, maybe 10. He's probably 9, 10, 11. So anyway, but that's besides the point. It's not what she said to him. It's the Somalian man with a video recorder in the park. Why? Okay. Hello. Why is there a Somalian man recording people in the park? he's just there in the park, a 30-year-old. Like, you look at who's in the park, right? It's white women and their kids. And then there's a black kid too. And then there's a Somalian man. And he just happens to be hanging out in the park. Get it? And who's Billboard Chris, Mr. Professional Demonstrator? Who's he siding with? The Somalian man. Who's Riley Gaines, the professional activist, siding with? The Somalian man. Who's Misfit Patriot, Mr. Uber Patriot? I'm a Christian. I love Israel. Who's he siding with? The Somalian man. Right. That's conservative. What are you conserving? Do you see how we need something different? But anyway, let me see let me see if I can get anything else good here. Here's another guy, Diego Machado. The woman is a racist, and especially anonymous keyboard white supremacist warriors are taking this as a show of victory. The woman is a racist. The woman being stalked by a Somalian man in the park is a racist. Okay, so what? So what? So what? Who says we all have to live together? Why is there a Somalian man harassing white women in the park? Who says we have to live like this? What I'm saying is, I want to live a normal life. Right? This is not normal. There's nothing normal about forcing white people to integrate with Somalians. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Thought crimes, yeah. Nobody does that. This whole thing is this whole idea that we all have to integrate is a false premise. It's a false premise that everyone has to integrate. Whose idea is that? I'll tell you whose idea it is. It's the idea of totalitarians. It's the idea of a totalitarian commercial system. And they use black violence against whites to ensure that we stay in it and we remain in it and we don't get out of it. The idea is to keep you in it. You can't leave. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. And they have people that look like you and think like you there to keep you in it. And that's Billboard Chris and the Misfit Patriot guy. See, they have different people that look like you and think like you. And they have a lot of the same, they believe a lot of the same things you do. And they're there to keep you in the cult. The totalitarian commercial race mixing integration cult. Because you can't have people going their own way. You can't have the white race saying, you know what, we've had enough of this. This is terrible. We don't like this anymore. We just want to go our own way. Can we leave? Can we leave this party? No. No leaving the cult. No leaving you can't leave the cult. You're in the cult, you're born in the cult, and you will die in the cult. It's a commercial system. It's a race mixing commercial system, and you're not going anywhere. You're in the park with your white toddlers, you'll have a Somalian man come up and harass you. You don't like it? You fight, you say words back on video. You're going to have all these influencers calling you a white bitch, saying you and your kids should be beaten up and killed. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. General Flynn, all these people, General Flynn, people connected to General Flynn. I don't know what General Flynn has said yet. I should go look. But it's people connected to the MAGA Inc., General Flynn. Who else? All these people connected to. I mean, look. I'll just give an example, and then you hear the radio silence. Alex Jones has been real quiet about it. I think he's made one or two little harmless little posts. Radio silence. It's like when Ursula Haverback, the 90-year-old German grandma, is sent to prison for not believing in the Holocaust. She's going to prison. You have radio silence. Places like InfoWars are like, anyway, in other news today, Nancy Pelosi is stupid. Oh, Joe Biden's dumb. He has dementia. Let's talk about that. See how that works? Anyway, let me see if I can find some other good tweets here. People are pissed off about this. What I'm saying is, don't make this about the thing she said to the kid who was stealing from her. The real problem is there's a Somalian man in the park. See, there's a Somalian man in the park in his 30s. And who else is in the park? White women with their kids. And then there's also a black kid there somewhere. Not his kid, just some kid, I think. It's just some kid. But why is that? Here's the thing. Why is there a Somalian man in the park? Anyone ever think about that? Look, I'm 52 years old, okay? I stopped going to parks without kids. When I was a kid, I went to parks. When I was in my 20s, stopped going to parks in my 20s and in my 30s, and I stopped hanging out at the parks. That's where the moms and the kids go. Why is there a 36-year-old man, Muslim Somalian man, hanging out at the park? Why is he recording a white woman? Who's the NAACP siding with? What are they saying about it? They're saying we got to take her kids. We got to charge her with a crime. The NAACP. You know how closely tied the NAACP is to the Republican Party? You know how the Republican Party bends over backwards for the NAACP? Right? They want that woman arrested. They want her charged. They want her thrown in prison. They want her kids put in foster care. Right? That's violence. That's violence. That's violence. They want to kill her. Everything short of killing her. Let's arrest her. Let's charge her. Let's take everything. This is how the totalitarian system controls white people. This is how the commercial Republican totalitarian system controls white people, with black violence, with integration, with migration. It's there to kill you. It's there to control you. It's there to subdue you so that you can't leave. So you can't leave. There's nowhere for you to go. When you try to leave, there's a white guy there barring the door, like Billboard Chris or Misfit Patriot or General Flynn or some other asshole who says, she's a white bitch. She's getting what she deserves. Anyway, Riley Gaines is the next one. Riley Gaines. Let's look at Riley. Oh yeah. So here's this guy. He gets it. He says political memes. You're no better calling her white trash. Shameful. Exactly. Billboard Chris. Okay, here's Billboard Chris. She called an autistic kindergartner the N-word and made a millionaire for it. Let's look at this post. This is what we call white trash. Just calling her out for what she is. Oh, Billboard Chris. Look, if you see Billboard Chris with his billboard somewhere, God damn it. I really hope people tell Billboard Chris. See, anybody who thinks the way I do needs to find Billboard Chris and go, look, Billboard Chris, you can't call a white woman holding a baby white trash who's being stalked by a Muslim Somalian in the park. You can't do it, Billboard Chris. You can't do that. We're not going to let you do it. We're not going to let you do it. We're not going to let you do it, Billboard Chris. There used to be a group that went around back in the turn of the century of the 1900s, 1800s. There used to be a group of men, and they viewed themselves as knights, and they went around looking for Republicans just like Billboard Chris, just like Misfit Patriot. They went after the Republicans. They went after the Republicans. A group of knights that went after the Republicans. Yeah. They went after Republicans and wealthy Republicans, wealthy white Republicans. They went after them. And those guys are gone. But they need to make a comeback, because this is intolerable. What do I really want? I really want to live a normal life. This is not called having these people policing us is not living a normal life. Normal life was, that's what BLM did for decades. BLM, I would say BLM is a Republican organization. BLM is a Republican organization. Made millions off the BS. Yeah, well, they did. Well, they're backed by. I'm saying there was a group in the 1900s, a group of white men in the 1900s that viewed themselves like a group of knights that were there to defend themselves against terrorism. And they would hunt down Republicans. They would hunt down white Republicans that were setting up a commercial communist system of enslaving the white race. And those men are gone. But those types of men need to find Billboard Chris, who says about a white mom with a baby, this is what we call white trash. Just calling her out for what she is. She's the mom with the toddler. She's white trash. Oh yeah, Billboard Chris? If I ever saw you on the street, Billboard Chris, I would remind you of exactly what you said about a woman stalked by a Somalian Muslim. That's how I would phrase it for you. That's how I would frame it for you, Chris. We got to find out. Look, okay, let's go to Riley Gaines. Oh, here he is. Here, oh, this is funny. He says, once again, my replies are filling up with literal neo-Nazis. Literal neo-Nazis who are against Somalians stalking a woman in the park. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Great. Is that what I am? Good. That's wonderful. Look, I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm against Somalian men stalking a white woman in the park with a video camera. If I was in the park, which I don't hang out in parks because I'm 52 years old, but if I happen to be in a park for some stupid reason, and there was a black woman who was being robbed by a little white kid, and she called him a name, I would not, under any circumstances, pull out a video camera and start calling her a racist and put it on the internet. I would never do that because I am not an idiot. I'm not an idiot. Number one, I don't hang out in parks where there's moms playing with their kids. Okay, I don't do that because I'm an adult. I'm an adult man. I don't do that. But this Muslim Somalian man does. And then Billboard Chris sides with him, and Riley Gaines sides with him. And all these other MAGA influencers side with the Muslim Somalian man in the park filming a white woman. That's the problem. That's the problem. That is the problem. So he says, once again, my replies are filling up with literal neo-Nazis. I'm someone doubtful of your cause is going to go mainstream. You're not going to be mainstream like me. You're never going to be mainstream. What makes you think I want to be anything like you? Why would I want to be a piece of shit like you, Billboard Chris? Why would I want to be? Why would I want people to? I would never want, like, oh, you couldn't pay me enough money. Look, it's almost funny. I remember thinking of this because you got these guys, right? All the people you see, you're never going to see me. The only way you're going to see me on the mainstream media is if they send a news crew to my house to go, are you a Nazi? Why do you hate the Jews? Some stupid thing like that. I already have all my answers ready to go. If someone ever comes to me and says, why do you hate the Jews? I'll go, is Larry David Jewish? I love Larry David. I think he's hilarious. Is Larry David Jewish? What Jews are you talking about? You're so stupid. Your questions are so fucking stupid. God, they're so dumb. And people don't know how to answer. Yeah, I hope they send it. The only way you're going to send, the only way anything I ever say will go mainstream is if they send a news crew to my house or some shit like that. But don't come to my house. My house is not a very defensible position. Okay, it's not defensible. I'm easily startled. Okay, I'm easily frightened. Okay, and if you see me out on the street, I'm easily scared. Okay, I get scared easily. I'm very easily frightened, and I'm very easily frightened, and I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So this billboard cross. You're never going to be mainstream. You're never going to be like me. You're never going to have a slush fund like me. Yeah, you know why? Because first of all, the whole Jew-Israel thing, I really don't even have a strong opinion about it. Do I? I actually think the Israeli people are pretty cool, to be honest. Just in general, I actually don't have anything against them. I do have a thing against Bill. I have a thing against Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager and all these people over here who are they're just constantly propagandizing me and Americans about their pet project. That's the thing I don't like. I just don't give a shit about it. But other than that, I mean, but when I see the people over there, the people that live there, I'm like, oh, they look like nice people. Great. Anyway, let's go back to these assholes. He says this. Once again, my replies are filling up with literal neo-Nazis. I'm somewhat doubtful your cause is going to go mainstream when you celebrate adults who use slurs against children. Not very Christian of you. The woman with the baby that you called white trash. No one's defending what she said to the kid. The thing she said to the kid doesn't matter. See, that's what's being played up by the NAACP. That's what's being played up by all of the blacks on TikTok that are calling for her to be killed. Well, Billboard Chris doesn't have a problem with that because she's a racist. She's a racist. She deserves to be killed. Her kids deserve to be killed. That's what they're saying on black TikTok. And so Billboard Chris doesn't have a problem with that because he's paid by a group that all, for some reason, they all have to pledge allegiance to Israel. And they all say that they're the good Christians. They're the good Christians, not like the evil, racist neo-Nazis that don't want to be attacked by Muslim Somalians in a park. I'm talking about the Muslim man, the Somalian man in his 30s. I'm not talking about the little kid. They're focusing on the little kid. What's the next one? Should we have had another? So I told him, she called a Somalian man stalking her the N-word, liar. The only problem with my Twitter stuff is it gets no views because it's all shadow banned. So like I got 2 views. Anyway, yeah. So then he says white supremacists. He calls us white supremacists. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a white supremacist. It doesn't matter if you're KKK. It doesn't matter if you're a neo-Nazi. It doesn't matter because here's what I'm saying. Can you leave us alone? Can you just like go away? Billboard Chris, can you just leave us alone? Can you just go away, Billboard Chris? Can you just go away, Riley Gaines? Can you just leave us alone so that we can live normal lives? That's what I'm saying. We want to live normal lives. Is Riley Gaines? She probably shut up about this, but I want to see what she said. She was like one of the first persons that I heard. In fact, the reason why I got back on Twitter was because of her. She's followed by Donald J. Trump. Dude, see, this is what I'm talking about. Riley Gaines is followed by Donald Trump. Am I followed by Donald Trump? Fuck no. You think, okay, now I know exactly what's going on. Okay. I'm basically like, I don't want to brag, but as far as like data analyst, I have zero budget. And I can tell you, without having all the inside information that some of these other groups have that are connected to actual intelligence organizations, with zero budget and zero access, I know exactly what's going on. And you know what I mean? So, but Donald J. Trump, he follows Riley Gaines. He follows some other idiot. He follows some other idiot MAGA influencer bullshit that are all part of some network. He would never follow my account. If he followed my account would blow up, and then people would go through and they would look at my media and all my posts and be like, "What the fuck?" You attack their organizations by attacking yours first. I know what that means. What do you mean by that? I think you're onto something there, but But let's look at. So here's Riley Gaines. Now I haven't even read this post yet. I'm going to assume she's talking about COVID and vaccines. And I'm just going to assume, without actually reading her post, just based on the fact that I know that she's part of a network of criminals, that she's going to not come out against the vaccines, but against forcing people to mandate them. Is that what this is about? Let's see what she says. Let's see what this says. Oh, there's the word mandate. Let me play it for you.
All of that stuff, social distancing.
Let's try it again.
Talk about what happened with you, because I've heard this from other college athletes, that they didn't kick you off the team, but they made your life miserable if you didn't get
Miserable.
it. So I am curious, did they follow through with that? And
So it was really unique. It was really unique. They had people come in, what they labeled as outside professionals. Again, whatever that means. They didn't tell us how these people
By
were
the way, she has clown paint on her face all the time.
qualified as professionals. Didn't tell us any of their credentials, anything like that. But they had these people come in.
Hurry up.
I remember specifically
Mhm.
because I was one of the ones who said, no,
Yeah.
you can't make me do this.
Okay.
right?
Okay.
They told me, Riley, you're the team captain. You're going to be hurting your team if you
Okay.
don't.
Okay. This is about mandates. She used the word mandate in there.
And again, I called their bluff and I said, that's fine.
Oh, wow. Good for you. So I don't know. Okay. Setting a standard. So let me give you an example. I started this channel on the first day of the lockdowns, or like the first week in March in 2020. They didn't have any vaccines yet. There were 0 vaccines when I started this channel. The video I made, I believe it's gone. You can find it on Rumble. But not under my name, under a different name. I still have the video, March 2020. I said on March 2020, when they announced the lockdowns and everybody was locked down, and I went to the grocery store and everybody was raiding the grocery stores, and everybody was in a panic. I remember standing in the parking lot. There was this guy out there, and I was standing there, and I wasn't wearing. Everyone had to wear a mask, and I was standing in the parking lot without a mask on. He was standing there without a mask on. I go, hey, what's up, bro? I'm like, and he had the same look on his face that I had. He's like, what the hell's going on? And I go, these people are nuts. He's like, I know, this is crazy. See, two Americans in a parking lot, just viewing the world going crazy. Anyway, I made a video. And I told you in the video, in March 2020, before there were any vaccines or anyone even mentioned a vaccine, I said, they're going to roll out vaccines. Remember that? And what did I say? I probably can't even repeat on here because I don't want to get in trouble. But I said that Bill Gates intends to kill a lot of people. That he wants to kill people. That's what I told you. But they didn't even have a vaccine yet. They didn't even say anything about vaccines. They didn't say a word. But Riley Gaines, see, she's a professional. And so what she says is, you just can't mandate those vaccines. You can't just mandate them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. You just can't tell me I got to take it. Because, see, that's the thing. That's the difference. All the Republicans came out at the same time and said, you just can't mandate them. That was the talking point. Now the talking point is, she's a white bitch. She's a white bitch. Take her kids. That's the new talking point from the Republicans. Anyway, let's go to Riley Gaines. So there's certain topics that the Republican influencers are allowed to talk about. They're allowed to. See, they get paid for talking about things. So there's certain things that they can talk about, and they can talk about it in a certain way. Unlike me. I can say everything I want unless I want to get kicked off YouTube. Then I have to shut my mouth. What does she say about this lady? Let's go back to around May 3rd or 2nd. Here's Riley Gaines. Oh my God. Alert, alert, breaking news. Oh my God. Imagine if I made my whole channel about this topic. Okay, you ready, guys? Are you ready? Let me give you this. Let me turn my volume down. This is probably fucking up my volume. I'm yelling. Okay, listen. Hey everybody, breaking news. I'm gonna be an activist, and I'm gonna have a career as an activist. Okay, are you ready, guys and gals? Listen to me. Okay, now here, listen to this. men are men and women are women. Oh, and men can't get pregnant. Woo! Send me money. Send me money. Send me money now. Because I'm a genius. I just figured that out. And it's my job to tell you that. Aren't I smart? Aren't I? I'm so smart. I am so conservative. This is so earth-shattering information. That's Riley Gaines. That's Riley Gaines. That's her whole career. This is like, for Republicans, this is something we all need to get behind. Now, if you say, hey, guess what? Republicans, I've decided I no longer want to do race mixing. I've just decided I don't like it anymore. Can we do something else? Fuck you, Nazi! Fuck you! Get back in your hole, bitch! You fucking white piece of shit, white trash! Fuck you! That's what they do. Fucking scum! Nazi! Me and the BLM are gonna show up and burn your fucking house down, Nazi scum! That's the Republican Party. That's the Republican Party. Right. You're supposed to talk about transphobia and shit. Men can't get pregnant, remember? Yeah, I know that's stupid. What are you talking about? Everybody knows that. Are you fucking retarded? I can't. That's a word I can't say. Are you renarded? I don't know what that means. Never mind. See, once I start going, dude, the leash comes off and I get myself in trouble. So the Republicans are Dan Bongino. He's the FBI deputy director. I like Dan Bongino. Total waste of time, though. I hope he does good stuff as FBI director. But I mean, listening to his show is a waste of time. I think that he will be a good FBI deputy director. I think that Kash Patel is doing a good job. You know, they're showing that they're doing good things, like with the big drug bust. You're like, but Kash Patel's a black person. How do you like it? Because it doesn't really matter. That's the U.S. government. That's not me. I'm glad he's arresting drug dealers. I'm glad he's doing good things. Good. Great. Good for them. I'm not the U.S. government. They are. I'm talking about my stuff's different. What does Riley Gaines say, though? Okay, so here's the thing. Let's get to where she talks about this gal. I don't believe did she delete her tweet or no? She may have deleted it because people. Let's see. She may have deleted it. Let's see. Oh, I don't think she did. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here. Oh no. Down with the. Oh. This is pretty stupid. Oh yeah. Here we go. Listen to this. Riley Gaines, Mrs. Clown Paint Face. Okay. The professional activist who knows the difference between a man and a woman. Ooh. Oh my God. I wish I could have built a career on that. I don't know how much money she's making off that, but I wish I had that much money, because I would just come on here every day and they'd say, this is the Brian Nato show. And I just want to say that men can't get pregnant. And this is my Bitcoin wallet address. Please deposit your funds. That's literally the whole shtick. That's Billboard Chris. That's Riley Gaines. That's the whole thing. That's the entire Conservatard, MAGA-Tard Inc. bullshit. And by the way, I love Israel, and Jews are God's chosen people. Please deposit funds in my USDT account. Let me give you the code. I could do that. If I ever do that, trust me, it'll be the funniest show ever. If George Soros was like, look, I was watching your show. You're a racist asshole. I don't believe anything you say. And what we've decided is we're going to give you $1 billion. And we just need you to say this. We want you to say, take the vaccines, and, that Black Lives Matter, and that race mixing is bad, and that Nazis are bad, and that KKK is bad, and that Donald Trump is bad, and he's Nazi KKK, And they'd make a list. I would literally say all of them. I would do it all. I would come on the show and I would say all of those things. And I would say, I just want to tell you that you need to go out and you need to take that vaccine they came out with. You need to go find that thing and inject it straight into your veins, man. And don't even worry about it. I know it hasn't been tested or whatever. I'm sure it was tested. Just do it. And look, if you're a liberal, I will drive you to the pharmacy to pick it up. See, I'm doing my job. Send me the money. Send me the money, bitch. Soros, send me my money. I would do that. I would do it in a way that was so hilarious and so satirical, but I would say every word of it. I would say every word of it in a way that was so obvious. And I would collect my cash, but they do it for real. They're like, hey guys, men aren't women. And this is just a fact. And we gotta fight the Democrats. And then they get this, and then they're like, we have a huge success in our Republican state with a Republican governor. He just passed a law that children can't cut off their genitals. Woo! Of course, if you're 18, you can in the same state. And the Republican governor has made that law. So now people who are mentally ill and on drugs and been, people that were abandoned by their parents when they were 5 and put into a concentration camp called the U.S. public school, and then hooked on drugs and confused and left there all day, every day for years, that now want to cut off their genitals. Well, they can do that as long as they're over 18 and it's fine. See, that's the Republican Party. But let's talk about Riley Gaines some more. She says her original goal was 20,000 to relocate to safety. Fair enough. Once she raised that, the goal jumped to 150K. She hit that too, so it became 250K. This isn't the end of white guilt and black privilege, which I agree is real and harmful. It's emotionalism at its finest. Why don't you shut up, Mrs. Clown Paint? Why don't you be quiet, Mrs. Clown Paint? Notice I didn't call you the names that. Notice I'm not calling. I haven't called Riley Gaines the same. Have I called her the same thing that Billboard Chris called the white mom with her kids in the park, harassed by the Muslim Somalian pirates? I don't think so. I think I said she wears a lot of paint on. I think I said she looks like a clown, and that she has clown paint on her face. That's about it. That's all I've said about her. Is that she wears clown paint every day on her face. That she made a career out of knowing the difference between a penis and a vagina. Wow. You should make a career out of that. I want to make a YouTube. Hey, can somebody send me some fucking money, please? Please, do you have any money you can send me? I'll send you my. I don't even have. Do I have a Coinbase account? The place is too expensive. Don't get a Coinbase account. You're gonna get ripped off. Just send me it. Just send me it in the mail. Like I have a PO box. Send me a cashier's check. All right, let's go back to this one. Riley Gaines. Anyway, so that's what's happening. But let's just check it out. I'm gonna just listen to some of the horrible. So this is if we put in Shiloh, the name of the mom who's being harassed by. Name of the mom that's being harassed by a Somalian Muslim in the park, and who's backed by the Republican establishment. White mother tormented by, I can't say that. This guy's funny. Stood up for her son. Now the something mafia is attacking. That's right. Oh, and the guy, okay, so the Somalian videographer, his name is what? His name is Sharmke Bail Amar. Sharmke Bail Amar, and he has a partner in crime, Mohammed Hussein Omer. They were together, not individually, but as a group, charged with raping a 16-year-old girl. And then they got charges dropped or some shit. All right. Because he said it was all whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't know what he's claiming, but whatever. So yeah. So what are people saying about this? Salty Texan. So the random dude with no children at the park while filming Shiloh Hendricks about the N-bomb is an alleged pedophile. That's right. The man who filmed Shiloh Hendricks using the forbidden word is a pedophile from Somalia, according to I am yes, you are no. The real question is, why is there a Somalian pedophile in America at a children's playground? Exactly. Now, the NAACP doesn't care. Billboard Chris doesn't care. Riley Gaines doesn't care. Misfit Patriot, Mr. I love Israel. I'm a Christian. Here's my black friend that I hang out in the middle of the night at the bar with, in the middle of the night, drinking alcohol with a black guy in the middle of the night at our bar that we go together. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, a lot of people are donating to the scout. So why are people donating to her? Not because of what she said to a little black kid that was robbing her, but he just ran off. He just like got called the name and then ran off. The problem is you've got a man in the park named, what's his name again? You've got a man in the park, a grown man named Shamaka Bil Umar. Okay, a Muslim, a Somalian man in the park. There's a Muslim Somalian man in the park filming a woman with her baby. And the MAGA influencers, who are they siding with? The Muslim guy, the Somalian. I could just repeat that over and over again. What do you guys think? Should we wrap it up? I'm just repeating myself. I just keep repeating myself over and over again because I'm so pissed off about that. But the good news is, is that white people in general on Twitter are like, fuck this, fuck this, fuck this. And all I'm saying is we need to be able to live normal lives. We don't need it. There's no reason. I'm looping. Yeah. We need to live normal lives. There's no reason. Integration is stupid. I mean, if race mixing happens naturally in people's lives, fine. But this whole thing that everyone has to force race mix in a commercial system by law, that's wrong. That's wrong. No one has to do that. That's not naturally. You see, you have inherent rights on things that you like and don't like. It's called natural law. That's what the founding fathers had a system based on, natural law. Naturally, if you race mix, that's your business. But if you want to have a commercial system enforced by law through violence of the state and their proxies and their NGO proxies like BLM and the NAACP and Antifa and all these violent terror groups that are there to terrorize white people in America and Europe and across Canada. That's what's wrong. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon.